Hey everybody, welcome to my kitchen. I am so excited you're here. Today, we're gonna make diet-free, slow-cooked pulled pork. The first thing we're actually gonna do is toast our spices. Since we're not gonna use a smoker, we wanna add as much smoky, toasty flavor as possible into our meat. I'm actually gonna set my cast iron skillet on high. This is my Aunt Dottie's cast iron skillet that I inherited from her. So it's literally got generations of flavor in there. And we're gonna toast the black peppercorns and a Guajillo pepper first so that we can incorporate smoky flavor into everything as it cooks. I've got whole peppercorns here. I like about 2 tablespoons. It's not gonna be hot and spicy. It's actually going to be more toasty and warm. Especially because as we toast these peppercorns, all of their aromas are gonna brighten up. It's like we're waking them up so that they can party with all the other ingredients as we cook everything slowly. I also have a Guajillo pepper. It's smoky, rich. It's not hot, especially because it's dried. You could leave this out if you want. You could use other warmer spices. You could toast like a cinnamon stick. You could use whole clove. You'll know these are toasted and ready as soon as you start to smell the peppery, juicy aroma. You don't even need to see color on these. The pepper actually smells fresh once it's toasted again. Now we're gonna add all of our toasty peppercorns and Guajillo pepper into the bottom of our slow cooker. It's literally gonna be the base flavor. Oh my goodness. The pepper is so fragrant. It's gonna make everything feel bright and floral and rich. I'm gonna give my cast iron skillet just a little wipe down. We want her to be super clean and super dry before we sear that pork. The most important flavor that we can incorporate into all of our pork is the sear on the outside. I'm gonna crank my cast iron skillet back up to high because we're gonna sear our pork on all sides. Just so you know, meat caramelizes when high, dry heat breaks down the amino acids in proteins. This is known as the Maillard reaction. You're gonna know your pan is hot enough. You can do a little trick, you can do a little check by adding a splash of water, and if the water dances, on the base of your skillet, you know that it's hot enough. You don't wanna see smoke coming up off of your skillet. That means it's too hot. If you see any smoke at all, take it off the heat, turn it off. You want this to be really, really hot, have the water dance, but you don't want any smoke. Yes. As soon as all that beautiful water evaporates and your skillet is nice and clean again, we're gonna sear our pork. You can do this with any protein. If you wanted to do this vegan and you wanted to do a pulled jackfruit, still don't skip this step. Sear that jackfruit, sear that chicken, whatever you're gonna braise so that we get all of that beautiful caramely flavor in our slow cooked meat. You braise me up! I have about a 7-pound pork shoulder here. We're gonna sear it on all sides and we wanna start with the fattiest side. This beautiful creamy colored part, that's all that wonderful juicy fat that's gonna flavor the rest of our pork. We're gonna go this side down first and we're gonna hear that beautiful porky applause. It's gonna go, it's okay to use your fingers. While that sears and we have this wonderful applause, I'm gonna totally wash my porky hands. As this is searing, don't touch it. Let it do its thing. You want as much surface area of the pork to be touching your pan as possible. That's where it's gonna get all brown and caramely and flavorful. You're gonna know it's time to rotate your pork. Once you see the edges of the pieces that are against your pan start to come away from your pan, it'll tell you that it's seared. Once it's seared, it's gonna pull away. It's gonna open up. You'll know it's not seared if you try and move it and it doesn't go anywhere. It will tell you when it's ready to move. And when it's ready to move, we're gonna rotate it so every corner of our pork has brown caramely goodness before we braise it. While you're letting your yummy protein sear, we're gonna prepare the delicious juices that we're gonna braise them in. I've got my peppercorns in here. I'm gonna add a ½ cup of apple cider vinegar. Apples and pork is so yummy, and apple cider vinegar is gonna give brightness to the rich, rich pork flavor. I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of honey, just because I think it's nice to have a little bit of sweet, especially with that heat. And that little bit of honey, it's not gonna make the pork taste any sweeter than it is. It's gonna highlight the natural sweetness of the pork itself. Because we're doing a lot of pork, we're gonna add a lot of salt. I'm gonna do 2 tablespoons of seasoned salt. If you end up doing a regular salt, do like 1½ tablespoons. I like the paprika and garlic flavor that comes in the seasoned salt. You can add whatever flavors you love the most. Time to check that first side. Oh, yes! Take your time with it. It's golden, stunning. All that beautiful fatty side now on the bottom is rendered. So all of that wonderful pork fat is now crispy. It's got that lardon action happening. We're gonna multitask a little bit. As that second side is searing, I'm gonna mix up all of my salt with the honey, the apple cider vinegar. All of these beautiful aromas are going to perfume our pork because we're gonna cook it for a long time. So it's gonna have a long time to get to know and cuddle with all those flavors. So every ounce of our 7-pound pork shoulder is gonna be scrumptious. We're gonna do another porky shuffle. You're not cooking this through, we're just searing the outside. Don't worry, we're gonna braise it for such a long time, the inside's gonna get cooked. You just want all those corners to get all these beautiful porky tan lines, rich, dark, caramely color. Once our pork is seared and caramely on all sides, we're gonna transfer it directly to our slow cooker. Take your time, you can use multiple pairs of tongs. Turn off your heat. Give it a good grip, tell her who's boss. Tuck her right in. Stunning. You can hear that little bit of sizzle still in our pan. We worked so hard to get all of this brown caramely goodness on the bottom of our pan, and we're not leaving a single ounce of it behind. We're gonna deglaze our pan with the same liquid that we're gonna braise our pork with. I'm gonna turn it back on high, just until I see everything sizzle and bubble, because we want that same applause-y sizzle sound when we deglaze our pan. I've got 2 cups of chicken stock here. You can use a beer, you can use 2 cups of wine, 2 cups of veggie stock, whatever you think is yummy. Get ready for that applause. It kind of tells you, as we deglaze the pan with the liquid, it lifts all those other yummy brown bits back off the bottom of the pan. We're gonna give it a good scrape to get anything that's still stuck on there, because every little bit of caramely goodness, we wanna make sure is getting into that final cooking. Turn your heat off. Remember, this is very, very hot, especially if you're using cast iron. We're going to slowly, gently add all of our yummy, caramely chicken stock over our pork. Yes. It still sizzles. All that steamy goodness. So now that we've done all the preparation, the rest is just gonna glide and take care of itself. I'm gonna turn my slow cooker onto high for a couple hours. You could cook this on high for about 6 hours with a standard slow cooker. I like to turn it on high for 2 hours and then turn it on low overnight. The longer you can let this braise, the better. We're going low and slow because since this is a tough cut of meat, if we cooked it really, really high for a short period of time, it's gonna make all of that meat seize up. Because we're gonna cook this low and slow. It's gonna give all of that meat time to tenderize, relax, and all of that chicken stock, apple cider vinegar, yummy salt and peppers are gonna get all the way to the middle and break everything down. To get our tougher cut of meat totally shredded, we need to slowly cook down all the collagen and connective tissue into melty gelatin, low and slow. See you tomorrow. This has been simmering and braising on low all night for about 8 hours. Oh, it's falling apart. Now, to make it pulled pork, we're gonna pull it. I'm gonna turn off my crock pot and very delicately just transfer all of our meat into a separate bowl. If it falls apart, that's okay, because that's what it's designed to do. Get a little porky steam bath. Oh my goodness. All of that tough meat has just been relaxing in its spa day. Doesn't really even need any encouragement. It's kind of pulling itself. Gotta love a little self-motivated protein. Ooh, there's our pepper right at the end there. I'm gonna keep her in there. Shred it right in. We want all those juices. Ooh. Oh, yes. Now I gotta get her all shredded. I'm literally just gonna open it up, literally like opening pages in a book, but using a couple forks. It's still so steamy and beautiful. If you wanted this to be a little leaner, once you let it cool down, or if you pop it in the fridge, all the extra fat is gonna rise to the top. So you can literally skim all that extra pork fat off. I like to keep it a little chunky still, because I like it to have just a little bit of bite. Just because it's not juicy enough already, we're gonna top it with some sauce. I love a Carolina style barbecue sauce, which is a mustard and vinegar based sauce. I've got about 2 tablespoons of honey in here. I'm gonna add about 1/2 cup of mustard. Yes. And just 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. That same echo that we have inside the pork. So we're gonna have some fresh brightness on top of the pork, as well as that cooked down apple cider vinegar inside of the pork. Whisk it all up, easy peasy. You can use a traditional barbecue sauce. You can go Korean barbecue. You can literally top this with whatever you like to enjoy. The other nice thing about adding your own sauce is you know exactly what's in it. There are so many incredible barbecue sauces out there, and there are so many barbecue sauces that are loaded with sugar. My barbecue sauce has a little bit of honey, so there's all the sweetness and brightness that I need without any of the extra sugar. Gonna load up, get some pulled pork. I like to sauce my pork before I put any other toppings on so that it can soak up all of that topping. Just loves to drink it up. And from our salad episode, I'm actually gonna add some of that same cabbage slaw right on top. This time, instead of the beet, I put shredded carrot just to add some different color, add some different flavor. And now the best part, I like to give it a wrap. Get it ready. When it's messy, you know it's good. Wow, it's like summertime. Thank you guys so much for cooking with me. Please send me any questions you have or future recipes you want to see. I would love to know what you guys braised. Let me know how jackfruit worked for you. Let me know how chicken worked for you. Please subscribe, and I will see you next time with another diet-free recipe.